taking a complete view of the entire spectrum for creating a digital destiny. Started a application process for developing our own LLMs or our own models. We are looking at that entire spectrum of AI as a new emerging technology.
So, Minister, I think just before your session, we had a very, very interesting discussion with the Admiral here broadly on the sovereignty, in general, of course, in a different context. But the World Economic Forum defines technological sovereignty and data sovereignty as the ability to have control over your own destiny, right? Which is the data, hardware, software that you rely on and then create. What would you define as India's ambitions on sovereign tech, and how does that correlate with our AI collaboration with other nations, for example?
Rajesh, that's very important. We are writing our own digital destiny. Over the last decade, you would have seen how many new DPIs we have created, how we have taken very methodical steps into semiconductor manufacturing, how we have expanded our telecom footprint by becoming the fastest rollout nation for 5G, how we are taking the lead in 6G, how we are creating a very, very broad ecosystem, very deep ecosystem for semiconductor design and manufacturing now. So in a sense, both on the software, where we always traditionally had a very strong IT industry, very big strengths, now coming to hardware, where whether it is things like smartphones, laptops, servers, to semiconductors, and now very soon we'll be working on components, to newer technologies like quantum, like AI. So we are taking a complete view of the entire spectrum for creating a digital destiny. We are also taking a unique techno-legal approach towards regulation rather than having a heavy-handed approach like what Europe has. We are taking a very nuanced, very measured, calibrated approach. So if you look at it from that entire picture, having a good focus on our existing strengths, building new strengths, and creating a good techno-legal framework. That's the way we are approaching.
Thank you, Minister. That was insightful. Now, as you know, India is OpenAI's second largest market for number of users, right? Which has apparently tripled in the last year alone. So Indians are fast-growing consumers of this global product, whether it's OpenAI or maybe soon DeepSeek and so on and so forth. But you've stated that India is building its own foundational model, right? You mentioned that a couple of times. Is this only from a language or localization or a cultural perspective, or do you see this as a fundamental lens, like the DeepSeek movement for India?
See, we are using the DPI framework for AI. And what is that framework? The framework is, first, common compute facility, so that our startups, our academia, our students, our researchers, they can get the power of the latest GPUs, which they couldn't have otherwise being able to procure on their own. So creating that common compute facility, and I'm very happy to share with you that when we targeted 18,000 GPUs, we have actually got applications for, we were targeting 10,000 GPUs, we have got applications for 18,000 GPUs, and the price which has come is less than $1, which is compared to the global standards of $2.5 to $3 per GPU-hour. This is significantly lesser. And we are partly funding the cost so that the cost for our researchers and startups becomes very small. That is first. Second, we are creating a large number of non-personal, anonymized data sets, which will be giving good, accurate, high-quality annotated data for training our own models. Third, we have started a application process for developing our own LLMs for our own models. We are looking at both our own foundational models as well as our own distilled kind of smaller models, which are focused on specific problems to be solved. So we are looking at that entire range. The next thing that we are looking at is, um, can we can we create a very strong research base, and for that we have started centers of excellence. 3 of them already started, and one more was announced in this budget. So in a sense, we are looking at that entire spectrum of AI as a new emerging technology. And like what we did in the case of telecom, where we started 100 5G labs, and in the case of semiconductor, where we set up the latest EDA tools in 240 universities and colleges. In this case also, we are focusing a lot on the AI skills and on providing the best possible AI environment within the universities, because we believe that the AI, the world of AI has just begun. It's just a beginning. It's going to take many more years, and so many new mathematical uh, innovations will happen in the coming years and coming months and days, that we would become a major part of this entire journey. So that's the overall approach that we are following. Yes, culture and language is definitely an integral part of it, because we have seen the biases which are there in many other AI models. But the fundamental thing is that beyond culture and linguistic biases, our country, our talent, our youngsters, our startups, our researchers, they have the capability to develop their own fundamental models. So we definitely want to have that place on the table, and we believe that we can achieve it. That's why we are having this holistic, comprehensive approach.
Thank you, Minister. I think it kind of defines, yeah, it's a great to hear that. Moving forward, I think the place for India in the broader AI ecosystem is undoubtedly what we want to see, whether it is the foundational models or the applications which are going to be built on top of that. But we recently saw that the US, for example, has rescinded its earlier order on AI safety to provide faster opportunity to build AI leadership. In some sense, they said, don't worry about all the guardrails that we were trying to build, we'll just go out and build it. So India's AI vision is all about inclusion with safety as its cornerstone, whether it is DPDP or whatever else that we're building around securing AI. We always said that safety as its cornerstone, and of course, innovation led in many ways. But do you see these two approaches a bit of a contradiction for India's AI leadership?
Listen, our approach is to develop techno-legal uh, mechanisms, I would say. So, for example, when we look at safety in AI world, we have to look at a series of technical solutions to begin with. So, our approach is, we have basically given projects to universities and IITs. 8 projects have been given so far, and we have invited applications for many more, where the objective of the project is to develop technical tools which can address a particular security concern. For example, the security concern about privacy, let's say. Can we develop tools which address the privacy concerns in the AI? Second, for example, the question of deepfakes. Can we develop tools where the deepfakes can be identified in a technical manner? Third, for example, if we are looking at AI and cybersecurity, the interface of our current systems, where cybersecurity threat can become multifold because of the use of AI. So we have given such projects, and I'll request NASSCOM also to suggest newer projects, more projects, where we can then collaborate with researchers and come up with technical tools. I frankly, from whatever interaction I've had with the industry and experts, I frankly don't think that just by making a law you can solve it. It has to be a series of technological initiatives, a series of tools which will help us in addressing the security concerns. So added to that, a good balanced law, a law which balances innovation and regulation on both ends. I mean, the way we did our Telecom Act, the way we did our DPDP Act, which is a very good balance between innovation and regulation. So that is the approach that we prefer.
I could agree more. I think the whole approach of innovation-led, even if you're doing regulation, it has to be innovation-led so that it doesn't really restrict innovation. Is a phenomenal way to look at that. So thank you for that, Minister. Now let's switch gears and then sort of look at we've been had too much of AI for a long time, but I think it's the DPI, which is you had a big role to play as well in making DPI successful in India. Whether it is the UPI or Aadhaar, this has inspired global interest. As you know, many of our neighboring nations and also countries all around the world, all the way to Brazil, are signing up for partnership with India on DPI. So the power of AI with DPI can enable personalized access to our citizens, a tutor for every child if you implement it right, affordable healthcare, precision agriculture. So it's basically sort of the market of one concept which we used to talk about earlier on. Would you be able to share how do you see the role of AI with DPIs and the impact that it can? And I'm also asking because, for example, we have, for tomorrow, we have our partner country is going to be Sri Lanka, and then we have, a good set of delegation which has come in from Sri Lanka. We had the minister from Sri Lanka who's here. And so for nations like Sri Lanka, who would look at India's DPI, whether it's the identity layer, or the payment layer, or the layer that we built on top of it, for instance, DigiLocker and stuff like that. So there's a lot of work which is going on. So do you believe, number one, what is your vision to sort of take DPI to a much broader constituency outside of India? And then second, the role of AI, can we be implementing a lot more AI features onto the DPI?
Absolutely, Rajesh. And during G20, one thing which we realized is the kind of interest that countries across the world showed in our DPI and the whole architecture. The architecture is so unique. We have seen one set of architecture in the Western world, or let me say in the US, where the entire control is in the hands of the big tech. And we have another extreme, let's say in China, where the entire control is in the hands of the government. Here we have a very unique architecture where we have used public funds to create one platform where everybody else joins. That same approach we are now having in the case of semiconductor, in case of 5G, in case of AI. We'll use the same thinking, because this is the thinking which can help us democratize technology. Our Prime Minister has always encouraged us to find ways by which technology can reach to a very large set of people. It should not be limited to a handful of the companies or handful of people. It has to be really accessible, and its benefits must even be more accessible to a larger set of people. So we actually have started using AI in our DPI layers, all the layers that you named, both in DigiLocker, in case of Aadhaar, in case of UPI. In many of these DPI layers, we have been actively using very focused small models which are distilled out of the larger models and solving a particular problem, and the results have been phenomenal. The power of DPI actually can get multiplied 10x, 20x, 100x when we use AI with it. So I think that's going to be a huge win for us because we have that base already there. The second point on this question I would like to make, Rajesh, is that we all know that the basic raw material for any AI is the quality of data and the quantity of data that you have. And with the DPI, we have that big advantage in a very structured way, very, very structured way. So our approach probably will help us stand out in the coming months and years, because very rarely you will find a large public sector data set availability. Very few countries you will find that. So That way, we'll have a unique advantage. A small thing I would like to share with the audience is that Japan has given a patent to our payment system, to the UPI. So that's very encouraging, very a rich country, one of the advanced countries, recognizing our systems in that way. Yeah.
Amazing. I did not know about Japan getting into this as well, but that's a great update as well, Minister. Thank you. I know we have a couple more questions, but before I do that, I know lots of you from the audience had indicated that you want to ask something to Minister Vaishnaw. So can you, if you can grab a mic and then quickly ask the question, please?
Good evening, Shri Ashwini Vaishnaw. My name is Hiten Rana from SSNC Technologies. My question is, I've used mega structures, mega cities as a series to bring transformational initiatives and breaking of the glass ceilings in my organization. For the past 2 weeks, I was at the Mahakumbh, and I think that this was a truly technology Mahakumbh. I would request that we document a lot of the sections of how we use transformational technology to carry off probably the biggest event of this century, and share that with the citizens at large from a great platform. I believe this event has the potential to bring our citizens to think of doing things that has no precedence on the planet. And I think that the way technology was used, this probably falls in your domain. So hence this request is directly to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Mr. Rana. Thanks a lot for this. This is actually the largest ever function or event in the entire history of humanity. Probably this will remain the largest because I don't think population is growing much beyond what it is today. We used lots and lots of technology in this management. For example, at every point of time, we actually knew how many persons were coming every minute, how many people were leaving every minute, how was the dispersal, is it how many standard deviations away from the normal. It was like phenomenal use of technology, phenomenal use of AI, phenomenal use of mobile phone. We increased the capacity of mobile network almost like 100x from that place. The way we managed, the way we diverted people from the Mela place to different stations was done in a very technical manner. So at this point of time, if Prayagraj Junction is having more number of people, then take them to Naini, take them to Choki, take them to different stations. It was really, really a big use of technology. And I'm so happy to share with you that if you look at practically all the kumbhs of the last 100 years, probably this has been the best managed Mahakumbh, I would say. And thank you so much, and all of you who visited it.
We'll take one more question from the audience. Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Vaishnaw. Hello, Rajesh sir. I'm Anupama Ghosh from the Hindu Business Line. So my question is, India has always been a service leader, like service providing leader, has always been pioneered and been the best in global, service providers, be it in AI or any other service technology. So how can we make India also a product leader, as well as what are the incentives from the end of the government that the companies would be getting if they pioneer into this stature, into this field?
Excellent question. Thank you, Ms. Ghosh. I think this is the most relevant question that we have to face the entire IT industry. I would like to put three perspectives to it. First, after the success of having 5 semiconductor units where the construction is right now going on, and this year we'll have our first Make in India chip rollout from the first plant. Next year we'll have 2 more plants getting on stream, and in 2027 we'll have the balance 2. So that with that progress, now we have decided to take 25 chipsets, and the technical team is working on kind of shortlisting the names, and we will take a challenge along with the developers and researchers to develop 25 products in semiconductors so that we legitimately we can move towards our aspiration of becoming a product nation. Second, in case of AI, we could have limited ourselves to being a use case capital, being an application service provider capital of the world. But no, we want to become much more than that. That's why we decided to have a complete focus on getting our own product. Why can't we do deep say if we could send a person to the moon at a fraction of the cost of what the US did or what the rich world did? Why can't we also develop a model at a fraction of cost of what the rich world develops? So that is the second approach we are taking. Third, in a large number of consumer products, while we started first with the manufacturing of the finished product, and now we are moving much deeper in the value chain, we are also now moving towards designing the entire product and designing components and modules and submodules which go into the finished product. So this is a very good journey where the success so far has been very satisfying, and the results, like a good hockey stick, will be seen significantly more in the coming 3-4 years compared to the work that we have put in the last 5-6 years. That work will now get visible in the coming years.
Excellent. So, Minister, you recently mentioned that India played a pivotal role in shaping leaders' statement in the AI Action Summit in Paris, which was, of course, co-chaired by our Prime Minister Modi. How are we as a nation contributing to the formulation of international AI standards and regulations, and what steps are being taken to ensure that India's AI policies are in harmony with the global norms?
The big contribution that we have made in the global AI dialogue is that a simple legislation of whatever magnitude, whatever complexity will not work. It has to be technology plus legislation. That's a fundamental shift we have been able to bring in the global thinking in case of AI. And I think that's a very major contribution. The second thing where we have been able to convince a large number of stakeholders is that no matter what we do, we must not let the innovation be stifled by the heavy hand of regulation. Innovation must be encouraged. While we innovate, yes, we should take care of the harms that may be caused to the society and control those harms, but we should not let innovation be stifled the way many other geographies have approached the problem. So these are the two major contributions we have been able to make to the global thought process. We chaired the global partnership on AI. The summit was held in Delhi. Then our Prime Minister co-chaired the AI Action Summit. So our contribution, our thinking, our thought process has been widely acknowledged and largely accepted by the world.
Minister, so lastly, and I know we want to wrap up the conversation with this last question. So, as we know, India's technology services sector has been the cornerstone for India's technology ambitions broadly, and of course, they are looking at the AI as the next inflection point. We talked about it quite a bit today. Much like what we had with the Y2K or a couple of other seminal movements, if you may, in the industry. What would be your vision for the services sector or technology in general for, when you look at Viksit Bharat, when you look at a few years ahead, where do you see the services sector evolving?
I'll share one personal experience that I had. In one particular case, when the services started in our country, the level of value addition which was there in those services, let's say 15, 17 years ago, was a very low level of value addition. over a period of time, in that particular sector, the value addition kept on increasing, and today the entire product is being designed in the country, in our country. And this is a story which I hear from sector after sector, product group after product group, industry after industry. So the way our services industry has today really grown up in the entire learning curve, in the value chain, that's phenomenal. We are adding 2 GCCs every week. We are adding 2 GCCs every week in our country. So that's the pace at which our services industry is being valued by the entire country, entire world. And I think this growth will continue. This growth will only accelerate. What I will request through this forum is, we must very actively engage in creating that talent pipeline. In my opinion, for our industry, for the IT industry, the availability of high quality talent is going to be a defining factor. It's going to decide our destiny. It's going to really make or break the competitiveness that we have. So I would like to request the entire NASSCOM fraternity that let's, together with the government and the university structure, the experiment that we have done on future skills, time to take it 100x, time to really have a specially empowered growth, focus very intensely on getting the course curricula changed at graduate level, at master's level, at PhD level, and replicate what we have very successfully done in case of 5G and in the case of semiconductors. I'll give one more example. For the transportation sector, we started this central university called Gati Shakti Vishwavidyalaya in Baroda. And we told the transportation industry that this industry, this university, is available to you. The entire freedom to decide the course curriculum is yours. So let's say I'll give you 2 examples. Airbus, we said that you decide the course curriculum. We are giving you a whiteboard. We will not even change a comma or a full stop in what you decide. They actually did that. And today, Airbus is going to, their course has started, it's a BTech course. They are going to take their large number of engineering talent which is required from this university. Same is the case we did with Alstom, Siemens, with Jacobs, and now Deutsche Bahn is going to do that. Deutsche Bahn will be hiring most of its engineers from this university because we have given that freedom to the industry. And that model we would like to replicate in many more places. We give the freedom to the industry to decide the course curriculum. You know better what you need. Industry knows what it needs, right? Who knows it better than you guys? So come out, set up the course curriculum. We'll facilitate that very same course to be taught in a particular university, and let that batch of students who come out be so well trained that they can hit the road running without spending that 1.5 years or 6 months of polishing after they come out of school. Instead of that, they should be able to right away contribute, and in fact, they should be able to contribute while they are in the college. So I'll request that to maintain the competitiveness of our industry, NASSCOM as a body and government, we must put our maximum effort on creating that pipeline of talent. That is what I would like to request this entire gathering.
Truly appreciate the clarity of thought. I think I truly like the fact that you picked up that fact that we are really adding 2 GCCs every week. Also on the skilling part, what we need to get done, our work is cut out. So Minister, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you taking the time and be with us this evening. Let's give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.